So the way that I became involved with Divided We Fall is they said that they were looking for people who might be willing to do I guess a reality show, a documentary about something having to do with being an American. There were people who were pro-Trump and the opposite. And I knew which one I was, but I didn't know anything about anyone else in the cast. So we were led through this drawing exercise. We were supposed to draw a portrait of each other without looking down.
It's gonna be like Picasso.
You knew that you were drawing something that was hideous. I see it as a metaphor that we're not going for perfection. Even the people running the show were like, we don't know how this is going to turn out. We don't know how these conversations are going to turn out. We were all willing to just go with it. I'm a food writer. I have a degree in food studies, and I think communality, sharing food, sharing a table with people is really important. So I loved that on the 2 mornings we were together, we started each day at breakfast, sitting at a table with other cast members.
You guys, they have an Obama-let.
I just saw that.
Oh my gosh.
And they have a Trump-let.
But it's huge. Well, let's get it.
Talking and eating, it had this feeling like we were family. We got into some seriously good conversation topics.
It was cold out. We didn't have any money and my business had failed. I mean, we're broke. I needed fucking meat, you know? And like, listen, like, I'm embarrassed to even ask for help.
Right.
Like, but I'm doing it because I have kids. And
I have an almost exact same story, except I called 1-800-JOE for oil.
I did that
and
too,
I
it
had
was the same
oil
year.
The next day.
And I went from having like a marketing job in New York City to being a baker. You do not make a lot of money as a baker. Yeah, like it was the first time where I was like, oh my God, I almost can't feed myself. And a friend of mine went for me. And she brought me a box of food.
It just brought out that humanity. I was like, oh my God, you know, I don't care who it is. I care about these people at this table and I feel for them. Linda talked about, I think she was a server at a restaurant and there was someone in the kitchen who was Brazilian.
He asked me to to teach him English. So every day we'd kind of throw a word back and forth to each other. Wonderful gentleman. I found out he was working 3 jobs, had 4 children back home with his wife, and he was sending most of his paycheck back. And one day I go to work and he's not there, and I'm like, where is he? He had got deported, and I was like, so sad. He was a wonderful, wonderful guy.
Next day when we were talking about immigration and kids in cages and all that lovely stuff that's going on and still going on a year later, and it's only gotten worse, she mentioned that she knew someone whose child had been killed by an undocumented immigrant.
I know of a death last year that happened because of an illegal immigrant who was not supposed to be here, was undocumented, no insurance, no license, and I believe that that person should not have been here. That family would still have their child if it wasn't for that individual.
It was like, I had this moment where I was like, is this the same person? Last night, she was talking about having this personal connection to someone who was an undocumented immigrant and feeling sympathy and recognizing the value of that person and who had been deported. And then the next night, she was intimating that we should get rid of all undocumented immigrants. It definitely made me feel differently about Linda. And then as time went on, that continued to evolve.
I feel like we've had some really interesting conversations where it wasn't just like, this is what I think, this is what I think. I feel they progressed.
I think I have a lot more to learn, and I think that you're a good point for me to learn from.
And I feel the same way.
You know, people talk about the divide and how do we get past this? This is one way, this is one solution. Is it perfect? No. Is it going to solve every problem? No. But will it help? Somewhat? Even a lot? I think so.